Aí, vocês pediram, trouxe um judeu aqui, maluco de Israel. Where are you from?
San Diego, California.
And how long did you live in Israel in your whole life? Like
Year and a half.
almost, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Israelense, ok? So, o vídeo de agora a gente vai falar em inglês, a visão dele desse bagulho que tá acontecendo de Palestina e Israel. Se você não sabe inglês, você é um burro, otário, de
Entendo.
Você é um burro, otário, nunca tomou vergonha na cara e não merece nem seguir esse canal. Então, se você não fala inglês, se desinscreva, não me siga, tá? Porque eu tô batendo nessa tecla de falar inglês desde quando eu comecei a botar a cara na internet em 2013. Se você não tomou vergonha na cara ainda, você é burro e não merece estar aqui. Let's start. So, why was Israel split before this whole thing?
So before this current situation, Israel was having a judicial reform. So
Okay.
they had issues. They don't have a constitution in Israel. They
Right.
have some sort of law system, but it's not a real constitution. They don't have a lot of rules regarding their judges, and their judges were picking the other judges. Yeah. Go ahead.
Because of their network and like friends with friends.
Yeah, right.
So like in Brazil, the judges have way too much power. Too.
Right. So Israel also, the judges, because there's no constitution, the balance of powers can shift dramatically. So the judges, where they didn't have a lot of power, 30 years ago, now have assumed an enormous.
So
amount.
basically, the judges were on one side and the executive on the other side. So
Yeah.
judges here and Netanyahu here.
Right, and the judges had made laws like, well, we don't know, there's no law telling us that we can or can't do this, but we're just going to do this because we decided, and we can make a decision just because we want to. We don't have legal precedent.
Brazil is just like
Same
that.
like- okay, so
all of a
similar-
sudden,
yeah.
the judges, no. Like
I
we make a
decided
law,
it's like this
we
now.
decided it's like
Yeah.
this, but like in checks and balances,
Right.
it has to go through the House,
The
the
judges just
Senate.
decide. And then they pick
And
their
then
own judges.
executive, so like,
Yeah.
the judges they just pick their own, they make
So
it their whole
they,
clique.
They create their own.
Okay.
So they're like their own political force, and Israel.
Parece o
government-
Brasil, hein?
Hmm?
It looks just
Yeah.
like it. And like it's split.
Yeah, it's split. So they're not conservative. They're more left leaning.
Okay, so the judges are left wing, progressive, pro gay, and pro.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, but the actual elected officials tend to be more conservative.
Conservative,
Right.
Israeli,
Right.
Jewish,
Right, yeah.
traditional. Okay.
Exactly, and Israel's a coalition government. So Netanyahu, Bibi, is the president, is the prime minister.
Right.
But he has to work with basically like a group of other people in
Like
a
a
coalition.
parliament, like kind of like
Kind
in
of like a
England.
small, yeah. But they also have certain voting powers.
Okay.
And based on how many votes they got from the public. So it keeps the checks and balances even within the executive system, but the judicial system doesn't have that because they choose their own judges. And so Bibi Netanyahu he's been in trouble for taking bribes or some sort of
Corruption,
political-
just like
Yeah.
any other politician in
Sure,
the world. Like
sure.
it doesn't. I don't think there's one single politician who's never taken a bribe or like done a
Right.
deal and stuff like that.
Right.
So like, it's so easy to incriminate a politician. Oh, you're corrupt.
Yeah, right. And yeah, sure. And the lines I'm sure blend at some point, but he
Right.
definitely got in trouble, and it's not 100% sure like he's going to jail or he's not. It's not sure, right?
So these judges are like following him for like trying to get him.
they
to a
don't like
crime.
him. They don't like Bibi.
Hey,
Yeah.
this what you just said in the past 4 minutes. It's exactly what's been happening to Brazil.
Okay.
Judges and Bolsonaro's are Netanyahu.
Right.
And like they're trying to incriminate with some kind of corruption, finding something about him and like trying
Yeah,
to
right.
change the rules of the game.
Mhm.
The judges are more on the left side and the executive was more on the right
Yeah,
side.
it's the same situation.
So like the country was totally split.
Right. So this is right because Brazil was even they were talking about a possible
For example,
civil war.
my channel was taken down by a judge.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. Yeah, interesting. So you also have so let's see. So you have Bibi may possibly go to jail or may not. And so there's a judicial reform bill that was put out,
Right.
which is basically saying like, hey, the judges need to be elected or at least appointed. They can't have these absolute powers if they make a law. Or
So
they
the
make
judicial reform is done by Bibi's people.
yeah. So
to like
it was actually a think
get
tank.
less
separate.
power. Oh,
Yeah, it's a think tank who did it. Yeah.
Oh, that's why you went to see the guy.
Yeah, the mathematician.
The
who did it.
mathematician
Yeah, yeah.
who's from America.
Yeah, and he was. I loved this guy. He had divided the country with this bill, but he was so sweet. And he's like, I can't.
You
sleep
met
at
the
night.
guy?
Yeah. I met him. I talked to him for a while. He was a really nice guy.
Ele
Emotion.
conhece o político lá do
Yeah.
Israel em pessoa, é verdade.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. He was great.
When you were living there in
in
like
Tel Aviv, yeah.
February, March,
Yeah, March. Yeah, exactly.
right before everything happened. You left Israel right before.
No, it was happening. They
He
were
was
there.
there,
They were
yeah.
right in the middle.
They were
of it.
right in the middle.
There
The
were
riots,
protests,
the
everything.
protests.
Yeah, all of that stuff was happening.
You were
already.
there.
Yeah, it was like at the height of this stuff. I mean, it
Right.
actually it's still gone on until now. But so the country had become divided. Also, people had thought Netanyahu was trying to push this bill in order to get himself out of trouble.
Right.
And then, but obviously Israel still needed some sort of reform. And then people said, no, first we need a constitution. And people were very angry because there were certain ways that the executive branch could just assume more power from the judicial branch, and it was sort of like these two were fighting. So it split the country really heavily until now, where there are terrorist attacks in Israel. They've taken hostages, paraded them around the streets in Gaza, raped and killed people.
Oh yeah, those women were for sure raped.
A lot of women were raped. Yeah, like you could see blood and all sorts of. I mean,
And their pants. Yeah.
like really disgusting
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, and Iran is having big parties and celebrating this whole thing, and down with America and down with Israel, and and
So you think these events are gonna unite Israel? Like they have to be united.
at least
right?
temporarily. Yeah, the my enemy's enemy is. I mean, it's so everyone's going to be united under a common enemy. Yeah.
Right. So like that will, like on that spectrum, the attacks from last night will be a political victory for Bibi.
Yeah, it's a horrible thing to
Kind
put
of
it
like
that.
if you think about it, who's gonna end up stronger is like Bibi's side because like hey,
Yeah, because he's
we
going to
need-
lead the war. He's gonna
we
go-
need to like nuke these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
We're Israel. Fuck left and right. We're Israel.
Yeah, but they're not going to nuke the Gaza Strip. It's too close to Israel. But yeah, they're going to go. I mean,
Wait, you don't think so? You don't think it's a
nuke?
possibility just to nuke the motherfuckers out?
No. Of course
Just
not.
get them out of the map. Like for example, the
No.
aircraft carrier is right there. There's
They're
like,
not going to nuke. They're not going to nuke Gaza.
You don't think so?
No, I mean for a lot of reasons. One, it would pollute Israel. Two, it would kill mostly civilians. Three, it would cause enormous retaliation from the whole world.
Arab world.
The whole. I mean, if a nuclear bomb got used right now, I can't even fathom what would happen.
So what will be another option for these motherfuckers?
They're good. I mean, they're already going in and they're bombing it. I had a friend actually on her Instagram. She put a story of what it looked like in Gaza, and the whole thing is on fire. The buildings, the houses, everything is on fire. And she said Gaza looks like hell. And the problem is, okay, so there's a terrorist attack, and I think it's like 200 or 300 Israelis may have died from this. And then they're going to go into Gaza and they're going to kill 2,000 or 3,000. And then those 2,000 or 3,000 people, so their brothers, their mothers, their sisters, they're gonna die, and then the family members of those people are gonna grow up thinking, oh, I'm gonna sacrifice my life to kill Jews. And then the whole cycle is gonna end up repeating. It's been like this for.
So if you were Netanyahu right now, what would you do? Well, how would you retaliate these attacks?
Look, I'm not Netanyahu, and thank God. How would you retaliate? Yeah, because you've got to have some sort of, I mean, politically and also just in terms of how do you stop something like this? I don't know. I wish some sort of diplomacy would work. It sure hasn't.
Yes, but like I kind of think it was Israel's fault.
How's that?
If you think about it, these guys came in parachutes
Yeah.
and through land. And Israel was like one of the most heavily policed countries, and like the core competence, the core strength of Israel is exactly how good they are in the military and defense.
And intelligence.
How the fuck
Yeah.
would you let a dozen motherfuckers
Yeah.
come in parachutes with machine guns, and other motherfuckers come in by car from Gaza into this territory, which is owned and it's like protected by Jewish people?
Yeah.
Like how? Like you
Yeah, how does
used
that
to do?
happen?
You used to do fucking operations in Uganda with like stuff like that, cinematographic stuff like that. and now you let the enemy come into your own.
Yeah, it's very uncharacteristic of Israel. Israel's got one of the greatest defense
Exactly.
and intelligence programs in the whole world. Some people are saying that this is related to Iran, and that Iran may have planned a lot of this and been a part of all of this. And they recently got, I think, $6 billion from America, and maybe used some of this and some of this intelligence to get into Israel. It's certainly not. It's not common that something like this will ever happen in Israel due to their intelligence networks. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah. It was a huge surprise for me.
Yeah, me too.
When I saw that happening, I'm like, me as a civilian coming into Israel as a tourist,
Yeah.
it's a hassle.
It's such a pain in the ass.
It's a pain in the ass.
They break your luggage looking through everything.
Exactly.
They question me for like an hour every time.
And they question you were a Jew from America
for like an hour.
They question you.
They take me into a separate building.
The security is very heavily enforced.
Yeah.
Like
You
for
never think
tourists
something like this happen. Yeah. Yeah.
from friendly countries.
Right.
So like, how the fuck would you let shit like that happen? I almost think it was like a setup.
Okay, I get what you're saying. You
know what I
you think
mean?
Bibi could have possibly done this in order to
Not as a
unite-
setup, but like
to
you
unite
just leave.
Israel.
Exactly. You leave that little door open. You bait them.
Yeah.
You bait them, and you're like, okay, caught it.
Well,
Got you.
this shit's happening all the time, right? Israel is constantly thwarting attacks on Israel.
Really?
Constantly thwarting attacks. And you know the Slingshot of David, the Star Wars program, where they launch rockets, Hezbollah and so from Gaza and from Lebanon they launch rockets into Israel.
Oh, and the dome.
The Iron Dome.
The Iron Dome,
right.
just, yeah.
Shoots it down, right?
Shoots it down, yeah.
And there are constantly terror threats to Israel. So
Right.
this one got through, and it's very, very rare that one gets through. Very rare, especially on this magnitude. I don't know that that's happened before.
Right. And like the fact that the world media is like, if you think about it, the media
Is on Israel's side for the first time. I feel like.
Oh, actually not.
No, from what I've seen, but maybe it knows that I'm Jewish.
Exactly. Yeah.
Really? So the world media is against
the
Israel
world
for this?
media is like showing buildings in Gaza destroyed and like
Everything
women
for me is showing like
crying.
anti terrorism.
Oh shit! So that's the algorithm.
The algorithm, there you go, because it knows that I'm.
So because the Brazilian media is
Yeah.
left wing, we're close with free Palestine and shit
Really?
like that. Usually the left wing people are like free Palestine.
Yeah, but I thought on this case maybe it's reversed.
And our old president Bolsonaro was like this with Israel.
Yeah, right.
He was very tight. He was very tight with Israel, very tight with Bibi.
Okay.
And like the new people coming in, the left wings, they were like all on the free Palestine kind of thing.
I don't even
free
understand.
Palestine,
Yeah,
free
I
Palestine.
don't know why it's a
like,
partisan issue.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's,
So there's the algorithm at work for you right there.
right,
Yeah.
right. So like, tell people to follow you.
Oh yeah, come follow me. Yeah.
Rapaziada, se vocês gostaram desse tipo de vídeo, a gente vai começar a gravar conteúdo no canal Ryan Santos, em inglês, tá? Então aqui embaixo, o meu canal original, ele está disponível em inglês. Por quê? Porque no Brasil ele está bloqueado e nos outros países não. Então nós vamos começar a gravar vídeos em inglês. Se você quer ver nossos vídeos em inglês, você vai entrar, vai trocar o país do seu YouTube para Portugal, para qualquer outro país, tá? Nos ajustes, nos settings. Parece que o canal está bloqueado no Brasil ainda, tá? Então nossos vídeos em inglês vão para o canal principal. Aqui vai continuar vídeos em português. E esse camarada aqui vai voltar a viajar comigo. I miss you, my nigga.
I miss you too. Good to be with you.
Yeah. Tamo junto, é só o começo. Valeu, Val.
Valeu.
Valeu. Você fala português?
Pouco ainda.
Yeah. E rapaziada, se você quiser fazer aula one-to-one com ele, beleza? De inglês, mas assim, ele não é professorzinho de inglês, não. É inglês de negócio. CEO English.
CEO English. That's right.
Não é business English, não. É CEO English.
Yeah.
Entendeu? Então, os clientes dele, one-on-one, geralmente são executivos, pessoas que podem pagar papo de $100 por hora, que podem pagar para conversar com ele coisa séria, tipo documentos, pô, ajudar, apresentações, e os caras eram 4, tá? Então, vai falar com o Val, Monge Gringo.
Monge Gringo. Me siga.
Valeu, rapaziada. Tamo junto, é só o começo.